When you think of cruises, what do you envision? Tanning by the pool on deck. Tanning.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
The cool breeze of the wind as it whips through your hair.
Wait, why is her hair not moving?
Girl, she needs some oil.
Not even that. She needs hydration.
Shoulda got boho knotless.
The summer sun shining down on you once you step off the ship and onto an island.
I went to the gift shop and I spent $5,000. I'm in debt now.
Good. Keep that vision.
Now imagine Carnival cruises. What do you see now? A delicious guy's burger, parties on deck every day, poop. I mean, lots of poop. You and I, we're not so different. I mean, we were envisioning some of the same things. Actually, I think I'm thinking of one extra thing. Are you too? Good. Okay, let's say it at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Casual racism. No?
Da 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 da.
It's time for Kaylee's Chats.
As a loyal Carnival cruiser, my days usually consist of waking up, eating breakfast, logging into Twitter and or TikTok.com, and defending Carnival cruises with my life. Anything for that gold card, man. I mean, I guess. I got off of my annual Carnival cruise not too long ago. By the way, here's how that went. And the first thing that I decided to do was come home and shoot this video. There is a subset of individuals online who trash Carnival cruise lines day in and day out. And that's fine. Carnival isn't for everyone. In fact, there are many reasons to be generally averse to Carnival's operations, and they're understandable. Carnival Freedom, the ship that I just came back from, has caught on fire twice. Carnival Sunrise is home to the world's infamous poop cruise incident, complete with an entire Netflix documentary covering the disaster. But other reasons that they give for hating on Carnival seem odd. I think the most common reason that people tend to not like Carnival as much is their amenities. Since most of these ships are on the older side, their interior design isn't exactly up to date. However, I will say, Carnival's newer ships are lit. Like, they're definitely a cut above the older models. Class Vista and up is most likely what you want to sail in terms of aesthetics and comfortability. Anything below that ranges from acceptable to subpar. So yeah, understandable standards, I get it. There's another reason that people tend to give for being a Carnival hater, and it tends to involve the type of people that choose to spend their vacation there. Now, I may be ditzy, but I was not born yesterday. I have eyes, and those eyes can see that most Carnival cruises are occupied by a certain demographic. I happen to be an occupant of that demographic, and that demographic has been hated on for, literally, the past 200 years. And every time a video of us having fun and minding our black business on these Carnival cruises goes viral, everybody has something negative to say about it. The conversation of racism being normalized in online spaces is a conversation that's had at least once a month. People get really bold behind these keyboards and these screens, and they say whatever because they know that their identity is protected. And then there's a very small group of people that just say all of these crazy, blasphemous, racist things, and their face is right there. Like, they're in their profile picture and they're showing off all 32 as they're calling somebody a monkey. Like, okay, queen, go off. Somebody could easily call your job and get you fired. Either way, it is incredibly frustrating and highly annoying. But what separates socio-political destructive racism from cringy, rage-baity, ignorant racism is this: plausible deniability. Whereas most world leaders who eat, sleep, breathe racism don't really care much for subtlety, internet bigots are always gonna find slick little ways to get subtle jabs in at their targeted demographic. They throw stones and they hide their hands, basically. And then you also have engagement bait that's like undeniably racist. These are the people that use unfunny stereotypes and dog whistles to degrade others. And I swear to you, look up any Carnival cruise TikTok on the platform, and I am guaranteeing you that there will always be at least one racist comment. Like, sometimes the entire comment section is just like flooded with them, and then there are other times where it's few and far between, but there will always be one, no matter what we're doing, no matter what we're wearing, no matter what we're saying. So let's go a little more in depth on Carnival cruises, right? Carnival cruises market themselves as the party ships. That is what they're known for. That is what they advertise. Not many people are aware of this when they book Carnival, and they pay for it by having their sleep disturbed. And I will scream it until my face turns blue. Do your research before you book. Because most of the time in these comment sections, people are like, I don't like sailing Carnival because it's too loud. There's too many parties. People don't know how to settle down. And I'm like, did you not do a TikTok deep dive before you spent a single cent of money? If you want peace and quiet on vacation, don't sail Carnival. There will be a party every single day that you are on that ship, and there is absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Anyway, since Carnival has party ships, naturally they will attract party people. People who want to get lit and have a great time and just let loose. Absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to let loose, right? Left. There are people who do not like it when people have fun. A fraction of these people aren't necessarily racist. They're just miserable. However, the people who comment on these cruise talk videos and say the most mean, poorly disguised, racially motivated things more than likely are not a part of this fraction. I love Royal. I can't be around ghetto people for too long. The Sea of Thieves. The Waffle House of the Seas. The Floating Section 8. When did EBT start covering cruises? They're just existing. Now, despite me being a black woman and understandably pointing out the unfiltered racism in these comment sections, I'm also a woman who is fair. I understand that there are some videos that unfortunately show my people causing a public disturbance. There is a fine line between having fun and being disruptive. There's a time to party and there's a time to relax, no matter what cruise line that you're sailing on. So then why am I still seeing videos like this?
West Bank, Night Ward, where he at? I'm going host back. I ain't know it pussy good. Put it on the West Bank, Night Ward, where he at? I'm going host back.
I'm gonna get a little sidetracked here, but this is why I'm so overly critical of my people and what we get ourselves into, right? And I'm gonna get on us twice as hard when we mess up, because the world is gonna get on us 5 times as hard. I'm the type of person to where if someone does something wrong, if somebody is causing civil unrest, or if somebody is impacting the lives of others negatively, I'm gonna criticize the behavior directly. I'm not going to criticize the person. When it comes to bad things that happen in the world, race is not my focal point of interest. However, the same cannot be said for other people. There are people out here who fully take race into account and focus on it. That is the reason I am so hard on us when we get outside and we start acting a fool. Because not only are you doing something that you have no business doing anyway, but you're doing it while being black. Either they finna lock your tail up with no parole for something that gives somebody else a slap on the wrist, or you're gonna be the white man's next walking, talking poster child. They finna be like, see, I told you they ain't no good. Them folks right there, every last one of them ain't no good. If one bad, they all bad. And I really hate that the Carnival Conquest Brawl is trending. Because, it really doesn't help the point that I'm trying to make here. So basically, if you are not already aware, there was a big breakout brawl in the Miami port leading to the Carnival Conquest. Reportedly, there were 16 people who were either directly involved or involved by association, and all 16 of those people have been banned from Carnival cruises. I don't condone violence of any kind, especially when you're on vacation. Vacation is a time for you to relax, to ease your mind. It is not a time to go up in arms. And I duly hate it because, once again, we're out in public doing things that we're not supposed to be doing bad things. And to the public, it gets sensationalized, reinforcing the negative stereotypes that are pinned on us daily. I am condemning every single person who incited or threw blows in that fight. However, what I'm not doing is saying that this is typical behavior from black people and making their race the forefront of the condemnation. To me, that just isn't fair. TLDR, I'm not saying that any form of stereotyping or racist remarks are excused if a black person does wrong, but what I am saying is that my people need to be more aware of what what they do and act accordingly. Especially on Carnival cruises, because they're just expecting you to act a fool. So if there's already a preconceived notion that Carnival cruises hold nothing but troublemakers, then it would be in your best interest to rethink that Lido deck takeover the next time you leave the club. I also want to talk about a certain word that people use pertaining to the ship's reputation and the overall image of Carnival Cruise Lines. That's GHETTO. I have entirely separate opinions on that one word alone. The fact that people try to rewrite the definition of ghetto and try to strip it of its racial connotation really frustrates me. The ghetto is a section of a city where a minority group lives, usually due to social, legal, or economic pressure. And if we really want to take a history lesson here, ghetto was initially a word used by the term that rhymes with Yahtzees to describe spaces where they would hold Jewish prisoners before sending them off to you-know-where. My point is, it will never not be a racial word. And now, it's a word that's used to describe something that's generally unpleasant. And supposedly, it's entirely unrelated to race. That is a problem. Okay, so let's reel it back in. Do you get it? Reel it back in like you're fishing, cause fishing, you fish in the ocean and cruise ships are on the ocean. Stop! Carnival! Lock in! People like to say that the people who cruise there are ghetto, or the parties are ghetto, or the entire ship itself is ghetto. And no matter what you do, that's just the reputation that the ships have, unfortunately. And you sailing on it, unfortunately, attaches that negative reputation on yourself, according to the internet. I want to bring up this video right here.
Whoever said Carnival Cruises was ghetto is really just anti-black. I promise you, they just anti-black. You go to work and you be screaming.
I feel like she really hit the nail on the head, because out of all of the words in the English language, why else would you use that one to describe Carnival's most unpleasant features if not for race? And then I opened the comments.
Who's gonna tell her that she is in fact proving the point?
That was so ghetto. Point proven. Anywhere y'all go is ghetto. They're literally telling on themselves. Like, there's no explanation for this. When you are using that word, it's impossible to strip it of its racial background. And this especially goes if what you are calling ghetto directly involves black people. Like, you would think that that would just be common sense. Earlier I mentioned how people need to do their research before booking Carnival cruise ships, because unfortunately Carnival has a plethora of controversies tied to it. They are in desperate need of a PR team, and they have several headlines, all of which are not positive. Like I said though, there are other words that better encapsulate this bad look that the ships have. The ship's interior rooms aren't ghetto, they're outdated and poorly maintained. The food isn't ghetto, it's as good as you can get from restaurants that are literally in the middle of the ocean and serve thousands of passengers at a time. The people aren't ghetto, they're people with fun, boisterous personalities, and you're incompatible with them because you're the chill, silent type. Outdated, subpar, rambunctious. There. I just gave y'all 3 replacement words. You're welcome. And while we're on the topic, let's go ahead and add another element of bigotry into the conversation. I didn't clock this until recently, and I don't know how it took me this long to clock it, but it did. In relation to that magic G word that we were talking about, plenty of people call Carnival a bunch of creative and interesting names. Walmart of the Seas, Nissan Altima of the Seas. And these names are supposedly implying that Carnival cruises are cheaper. And in a literal sense, they would be correct, because if you were to compare Carnival's prices to the prices of any other cruise lines out there, Carnival is one of the more affordable cruise lines. But when they call Carnival by all of these names, they're not praising them for the fact that they're cheap, they're degrading them, implying that the people who sail on these ships are of lower income than them, and that's the root cause for all of the uncouth behavior that happens on deck. This is textbook classism. And let me say this, it's no secret that our economy is in absolute shambles. Everything is way too damn expensive, and paychecks are barely even covering basic necessities anymore, much less additional recreation and luxuries. So the fact that anyone has the audacity to insult Carnival frequenters and place themselves on this financial pedestal is insane. You can't call nobody broke because we all broke. Bottom line, cut and dry. Everyone is literally fighting for their lives to stay afloat, and I'm not kidding. So to monitor anybody's pockets, let alone creating a false narrative about them based on what they choose to spend their money on, is super cruel and incredibly disgusting. And not only is it classist, but it turns right back around to being racist. Because Walmart and Nissan Altimas are also stereotypes. Black people shop at Walmart. Black people drive Nissan Altimas.
I drive a Nissan Altima, but we're not gonna talk about it, okay?
This may sound like a reach, but guess what comment I found? Oh, would you look at that? Now, what race is most commonly associated with Hellcats? Oh, that is absolutely right. Black people. And I know that this is 100% racially motivated because do y'all know how expensive a luxury Hellcat is? Like, actually, if we're going off of economic value, I can see a Hellcat being more equivalent to like Norwegian or MSC. And yet that is the car that Carnival is associated with. And it's not because of the price. It's because of something else. As I mentioned before, I am a Black woman, yes, but at my core, I am a woman who is fair. I understand that I'm only showing half of the narrative here, and you might be asking, where are all the white people? I mean, I feel like that's a pretty weird question to ask about a video that's talking about the racism against Black people, but sure, whatever, we can play that game. Again, people seem to not like Carnival because of the abundance of parties, correct? They hate fun. We've established this already. But this hate for fun also suggests intrinsic conservatism too. I know it's the summertime, and because of the rise of generative artificial intelligence and the general disregard for the well-being of our environment, we're experiencing the hottest summers in American history. But for God's sakes, cover up! This is historically an issue that Black women and men have faced because our bodies are unfortunately categorized as too provocative, even though we literally can't help it and it's just how our genes are made up. Now, you can argue that this is more so a case of body image issues and not a direct case involving race, but it's been scientifically proven time and time again that our genetics are a little bit different than others, and because of that, we tend to develop a little bit more and a little bit faster. And there was a time in my life where I denied that too, but then I thought about it. Being 12 years old with double D's and a Coke bottle body brings about some hardships, to say the very least. And when you start to relate that shape to your womanhood and your Black womanhood specifically, that realization can really take a toll. And also, people are generally averse to Black people when we dance because we're always seen as too sexual no matter what we do. And there are two dances in particular, twerking and crumping, that didn't start in a sexual context, but later on developed into one as cultures started to get a hold of them. And so now it's just altogether considered inappropriate to twerk or to crump. So how do you think the comments are gonna look under a video like this? Or this. Get it sexy, get it sexy. I'm trying to avoid copyright. I'm gonna talk about how my butt is fat. Whoa, yeah. There is an evident disparity that is at play here. Because while we catch flack for playing it by the quote-unquote rules and keeping it as PG as possible, our white counterparts can be as raunchy and as crass as they want, and they get a pass. So why are the comments under both of these videos disproportionately positive compared to what we've already examined today? Quickly, one is twerking, which is a dance that deserves an entirely separate video, and the other one is shaking his moobs for everybody in the lobby to see. Wow, that voice crack. That's crazy. I know I'm still gonna get quote-unquote ratioed because there are bad ones out there, which that phrase irritates me, but whatever. And I might even get the excuse that the people who are exhibiting this bad behavior on these cruise ships just so happen to be Black, and that is not the focal point of the criticisms that they receive. But if you see things like this, and this, and you're still trying to grasp at straws, trying to convince yourself that it has nothing to do with race, you either need a reality check or a good slap in the face. And I'd be happy to give you either one. But my thing is this. I take absolutely no issue with holding people accountable for the things that they do. I personally highly encourage keeping your composure at all times and consistently maintaining decorum no matter where you go. However, there is a way to do this without bringing up race every 5 seconds. And projecting stereotypes is not going to help you in your cause for public decency. And for those of you who relate to or responsible for any of the images or comments that I showed today. I really hope that you don't sail Carnival because I don't want to see your ugly, mean face the next time I go on vacation. If you guys liked the video and you found it informative, please be sure to leave a like. And if you guys would like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Also, please don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified of future uploads. You guys have a great rest of your summer. Be safe, be secure. Don't interact with any of the weirdos that I showed in this video. Like, if you see a Carnival Cruise TikTok and you see people being like outwardly racist about it, don't even interact. Because 9 times out of 10, they just want engagement. Just report the comment and go about your day, queen. It's not worth the trouble. Take care. Thank you. Bye. Bye.